Well, to ground our conversation, I think we share a certain perspective. I'm going to call us I'm going to call us sports media optimists within an industry that in many ways is falling apart. We actually believe that you can make money and have value to the customer in sports media. I don't know how many of us are out there, Tim, but we share that perspective. And with that grounding in the conversation, let's start it off right there. Why not? We'll get into why you've left the Athletic for the Standard and, what our run at the Athletic was like. But let's start with ESPN. When you see ESPN lay off the preeminent NBA analyst, Zach Lowe, what do you make of that? What do you think that means?
That one I'm not so. I mean, again, we can all say that's dumbing down of the conversation. That's not, certainly not a surprise. Certainly not a grand revelation. Zach was like he stuck out because he wanted to have reasoned, analytical conversations. He was really good at it, and still is. And that didn't quite fit. He's been pitted against the Kendrick Perkins, and certainly in my head it works that way too. And it's got to be the hot takes. Got to be LeBron's the greatest ever. Now LeBron's wasting his career, and we just see it pop up on the NFL. Like, do we have to have an argument about Tyreek Hill's legacy every single week, or Aaron Rodgers or whatever? But that's where they are, and Zach didn't always fit that. My understanding, though, is also this is a bit of clearing the decks. Like, you would have thought Woj leaving would have cleared a lot of money. It certainly did. But that they are clearing the decks for a run at Charles Barkley next year when the TNT is over. I don't know that they're going to get Barkley, but I think they're just clearing it out. Say, we're going to redo what we do as we can. Maybe, when they're talking to Barkley, there will not be people there that he's going to go, oh, wait a minute, how am I going to fit with that? Like, this is going to be your thing if he wants it. I'm not saying that this will happen. I'm saying this is what they're kind of clearing everything up for. And people get tossed aside when that happens. People get, you felt that yourself. Like, just there's certain big hitters when companies are in the hunt for them, they've got to kind of like, you know what, don't worry about this over here. We'll get, in fact, while we're talking to you, let's clear it out. It sounds cold. It is cold. But that's part of what I think. I mean, I think they're clearing the books no matter what. I think they want big salaries out of there. But, and that is what people are like, well, couldn't have been that big. Zach was making a lot of money. Like, we know that. You and I know Zach was making a lot of money. He deserved it. This is the traction he got from his podcast, from his writing. He absolutely deserved it, but then becomes, is that what they want to pay for? That's my sense of it, Ethan. I mean, I know you have your views and you certainly talk to a ton of people, but mine's a little different than most. I think a lot of
you've got it. The Barkley take's a great take. And I feel foolish for not immediately thinking about that, but that makes sense. Now they have the rights and Barkley is a free agent because he is in the mode that they now care about. They want big TV. They want somebody who has such a rapport with the audience that frankly, he can get the audience to maybe gamble a little bit. Hate to put it in stark terms like that, but that is a lot of it's a lot of the McAfee thing. Barkley has done those parlay commercials with the old version of himself. They want big, splashy TV stars. That's where they're going to expend their money. And they're just going to be less and less of a journalistic enterprise. Now, one thing I would say, maybe there's too negative a perspective on all of it in this way. We often don't have gratitude for what was. We lament what was taken from us, but we don't have gratitude for what was. It's kind of weird looking back at it that ESPN had so much smart commentary on some of these sports and had actual journalism. Nobody holds NBC sports to these standards. Nobody cares that, hey, there's a real dearth of smart sports analysis at Fox Sports. I'm mad about it. It's just wrong. But it came to be expected of ESPN because they did it. And it almost seems like an accident of history that a cable channel sports rights holder would have so many people saying smart and interesting things. That didn't necessarily need to happen. So I'm just appreciative of what it was.
Yeah. Back when when everyone wanted to have a print angle, right? I mean, ESPN.com was a thing, still exists out there, but I think, it was like, you've got to have a magazine format, or you've got to have a front page. You've got to have all these things. and ESPN did it, and still has very smart people writing. I don't want to name names because I would fear them getting laid off next, but we do know, several people who write very smart stuff on the NBA for them and other sports.
Yeah.
And I think also part of that is like, hey, we might get rid of this person, but we still got this person writing smart stuff. Don't rip us for these people. And again, I don't want to name names, but there are people who,
but let's
really involved stuff
yeah.
that don't write very often, and then they pop, and you go, wow, I can't even believe ESPN. And these look, you can't criticize us. We've got this. We criticized the commissioner in the NFL with this great piece, and that happens. So they're so big they can do that. They just have so many different, enterprises that, they're it's being pared down. Just the list of people who aren't there anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, there are still people there who are good. I want to be clear about it, but their days are numbered. I mean, that's what I'm saying. I don't mean it in a mean way.
Yeah. The .com is that's going to cease to exist at some point, and I don't know what day. I don't know. They won't announce it. It'll just grow less and less and less of a part. Like it's happening at the Ringer. And I'm going to get people mad at me by saying that the Ringer is now a podcast entity. It's not really I love their stories. Don't put. I'm not like we're kind of you and I are. We can do this. We're removing ourselves from this equation. I love the Ringer's content. I love a lot of the ESPN.com content. I love it. Like it's essential stuff, but you're seeing these companies move away from that, aspect of it. So where the Athletic took advantage, like just plopped in, we're going to provide those stories and we're going to make you pay for it. And when these other companies are moving away from it, and ESPN.com clearly is moving away from those stories, or stories, they have to have stories. They have to have things to talk about. They have to kind of move, the headlines around a little bit by their reporting or their analysis. That will always be their emphasis on the big pieces. I don't know that that's going to be there for very much longer.